Generating traffic and sales can be a challenge for online merchants. But selling on the Walmart Marketplace puts your products in front of millions of customers who shop on Walmart.com. And right now, sellers who join Walmart Marketplace can save up to 50% on referral and fulfillment fees for the first 90 days. So get started today. Head over to marketplace.walmart.com/savings. That's marketplace.walmart.com/savings.
Welcome to E-Commerce Conversations, a weekly podcast focusing on e-commerce topics featuring interviews with prominent people in the e-commerce space.
Welcome to E-Commerce Conversations by Practical E-Commerce. My name is Kerry Murdoch. The rush to sell products across multiple e-commerce channels is fine until a merchant starts to manage the back office complexities of updating inventory, prices, and product descriptions, and then managing sales and shipments. Without automation, that entire process can be a nightmare. Our guest today runs a company whose goal is to eliminate the complexities of selling across multiple channels. He is Fred Lietze, CEO of Dydacomp, which makes Multichannel Order Manager, an order management software solution. Well, Fred, thank you for your time today.
Glad to be here, Kerry.
Fred, Dydacomp, the company for which you're the CEO of, Dydacomp is perhaps best known for its order management solution, Multichannel Order Manager. The purpose of this interview, among other things, is to discuss additional selling channels for merchants along the lines of your principal product, of Multichannel Order Manager. Mm-hmm. And my first question for you today, Fred, is there are a lot of choices. Merchants have a lot of choices when they're trying to evaluate different selling channels. Of course, there's Amazon, there's eBay, there's other auction sites, there's niche sites. Etsy comes to mind. How's a merchant supposed to know what additional channel to use?
Well, the merchants, always start with their own website, their own branded environment, or at least in our experience. And then it's depending on their particular product category and price point as to which marketplaces are best for them. So for the merchants where just getting a lot more product out there, even if it's at lower margins, where that's a benefit to them, then the Amazons, the eBays, the big marketplaces that bring together lots and lots of people are the spot for them, and they don't mind being price compared against other shops. Some other merchants that have a more specialty product, they're going to look for a niche site that their unique buyer is going to go to. Generally speaking, our customers, the small merchants out there, their first step is they do a profile of who their ideal buyers are. And then their second step is, now where do I find the most number of people that fit that profile? And that's how they're making a decision onto which one they go. Because more is not necessarily better if you're not getting in front of the right people.
Can you think of an example where a merchant would not want to sell on additional channels?
Well, sure. There's in many cases, a merchant has a product that's either a higher price product, a specialty product, or a particular brand that they just don't want to get commoditized. What a lot of these major markets are doing, like an Amazon and an eBay, they're doing on the demand side what a Walmart did on the supply side of things, and so they're opening that channel up, or they're opening that merchant up to be exposed to lots and lots of different people But if I'm selling custom jewelry, for example, that may not be the answer. If I have a high labor content for my product, I want higher price, higher margin, but not necessarily that high a volume on there, for example. And then there's other merchants, we see this a lot in our customer base, where they want to use a specific channel for a specific purpose. So I have excess inventory, or I have an older model product, or something that's becoming more obsolete. I want to move that through an eBay or somewhere where I'm not damaging my brand or impacting my brand by selling that product at a more discounted price than I want to be selling my current product.
Do customers ask your company for multi-channel advice, such as there's a multi-channel order manager customer, say, Dydacomp, where should I sell these products at?
Yes, as you know, a lot of our customers started, date back to the mail order business, and started out with that particular type of channel, and then have grown into the online channels. So they do come to us for advice as to what we are seeing from other people in their particular industry niche or their category. How well are they doing on an Amazon or an eBay, for example, and get our perspective on what are the ups and downs. They also use Dydacomp as a go-between to introduce them to other customers using Multichannel Order Manager, so that they can build connections, get advice from other merchants in their or in a related space or in their space. So comes through us or directly from us, but that happens a lot.
I want to ask your view, Fred, on a couple of specific channels from your perspective of the CEO of Dydacomp. The first you just alluded to, or you first mentioned, a moment or two ago, Amazon. Mm-hmm. Amazon, of course, is greatly increasing the different products it's offering to e-commerce merchants, not only opening its own marketplace, but it's in the fulfillment business itself. It's got its own Amazon-powered shopping cart, etc. What would be your advice to merchants contemplating selling on Amazon, pro and con?
Well, my first piece of advice is for merchants contemplating selling on Amazon is to talk to someone who's already doing it and get the first-hand experience. Our experience has been that it can be a massive opportunity. I mean, just the 130 million plus buyers, and the fact that so much of their business comes from other small businesses marketing through Amazon is a great opportunity. If you have the type of product where you can source large quantities of it or produce large quantities of it, and you're willing to compete on price, Amazon is a great opportunity to expand growth, expand sales. Again, as I said earlier, if you're worried about your product becoming more commoditized, if you have a high labor content, or you want to protect high margins on a lower volume of product, then that's not necessarily the place to go to.
One of the arguments against, just to play devil's advocate for a second, one of the arguments, I believe, against selling on Amazon, or at least in Amazon's general marketplace, is that it is Amazon who has the principal contact and the principal relationship with that customer, and not a particular merchant. So while the merchant may be able to gross up sales by that traffic, it's Amazon that enjoys the principal contact with the customer. What's your view on that opinion?
Well, certainly that's the case, and actually Amazon is pretty militant about enforcing that hold on the customer. So again, it comes back to the merchant to make a trade-off. Is this a product that's going to be a repeat purchase where the customer relationship is critical, and once you want to establish that relationship directly under your own brand so that you could have a repeat business. If that's the case, then Amazon's going to be a lot lower on your value proposition, if you're that type of a merchant. If you're selling a product where it's a one-time purchase or where there's so many different alternatives to go get the same product or the same type of product, then I think Amazon is a good trade-off for that merchant, because the volume considerations, the exposure to that global marketplace is going to outweigh the fact that they're not making a direct connection with that customer.
What about Facebook? What's your view on Facebook, switching from Amazon to Facebook?
Interesting question. We see very different behavior among our customers when it comes to Facebook or social media versus the marketplaces. We don't see as many small merchants selling on Facebook as we see on the marketplaces. But what we do see is the social media becoming critically important for reputation and awareness purposes for these small merchants. So they want to get the word out about their product on Facebook. They want to get referrals. They want to protect against negative stories flying around on Facebook. So there's a little bit of you're partly playing offense with Facebook and getting the word out there and spreading awareness, but you're partially playing defense in keeping track of what things are saying about your service, about your product quality, and so on. So it's clearly different from a marketplace. There's different information flowing back and forth there. It's not all about or only about broad reach in Facebook, given the nature of the media.
Merchants that are listening to this that perhaps are contemplating expanding their product line onto Facebook, whether it's a Facebook-enabled cart where the entire transaction can be completed on Facebook, or it's more of a referral source. What would be your advice to those merchants as to how best to approach Facebook from a standpoint of actually moving product?
I think product that sells by referral, Facebook is a great platform for that. Product where where buyer behavior is really driven by comparative shopping. I want to look at these 2 or 3 different choices. I want to compare the technical specs. I want to compare the price, that kind of thing. Then I think the marketplaces are a better choice for that merchant.
Fred, the company that you run, Dydacomp is a pioneer in the e-commerce business. You've got the multi-channel order manager, which was formerly, as you mentioned, mail order manager, as well as that of course is the order management solution. SiteLink Commerce is your other product. Could you tell us a little bit about those 2 products and about Dydacomp generally?
Multichannel order manager, originally mail order manager, is the heart of our business. That is really the back office for the small merchant here. So once you get to the point where you're getting more than 5, 10, 15 orders a day, you can no longer manually enter those orders into UPS or FedEx or manually bill them, manually track that process. That's where you need that back office operation, and that's what Multichannel Order Manager does for you. It's going to take your order from the shopping stage through to the shipping stage and automate all of those business processes in between for you. SiteLink is a companion product, and SiteLink is an e-commerce shopping cart capability that's pre-integrated with Multichannel Order Manager, or MOM as we call it. So SiteLink contains product descriptions and prices and, in many cases, inventory quantities, And so does your back office system, your order management system, your accounting systems. How do you keep those different pieces of information or those duplicate pieces of information in sync? That's a huge challenge for the small merchant. SiteLink and Mom are pre-integrated so that we manage that process for the merchant. They don't have to worry about the product description on their website or their web store being different than the product description or product number or SKU number that their back office systems are using. We manage all of that process for them, so there's a benefit in having the two. There's been a lot of changes in this marketplace since these products first emerged. One of the, back in the mail order days, the mail order manager product was, in most cases, or the first piece of software that a merchant would bring in and implement, because that's how they got their orders. Their orders would be entered right into that system as they're taking phone calls from people that are reading from a catalog, for example. Now, so much of that early business formation, new merchants and so on, the first thing they're doing is getting that web store up and running. Then, as they get to a certain volume, they're coming to Dydacomp to look for solutions, and that's caused us to now undertake a major philosophical, cultural, and technical change with our products. So before, we could kind of be our own little world. The Multichannel Order Manager product and the SiteLink product working together, and then you've got the majority of your business operations. Now there's customers coming to us, hey, we're already using XYZ as my web store or my shopping cart software. I may already have a relationship with a particular marketplace or comparative shopping engine, and so on. I want you guys to be the back office for us. So we've now opened up the system. We've created a generalized interface to work with third-party software, and just the whole concept of openness, flexibility, giving the customer the power to modify, change, customize the workflows, the reports, those elements, is what the Dydacomp of today is now all about.
Is Mom a licensed solution? Is it a hosted solution?
Mom is a licensed solution. SiteLink is a hosted solution, so you have, depending on the different natures of the product, you have different delivery platforms there.
What does Mom cost?
Mom's price can range anywhere from $2,000-$3,000 on the low end for a smaller customer, on up to $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 for larger customers. There's multiple modules that you can add on to extend the functionality of Mom, say for warehousing, for example, or different types of interfacing to shipping systems or accounting systems and so on. So it can range depending on a particular customer's configuration.
Does it? We've discussed Amazon here as one, of course, dominant marketplace. Does it come kind of pre-synced with the major marketplaces, if I can use that term? So if I'm a small merchant, I buy Mom because I'm selling on my e-commerce site, my own platform. I'm also selling on Amazon, perhaps eBay, perhaps a price comparison site or two. Is it set up for pretty much the major marketplaces?
It is. What we did, we just recently launched version 8 of Mom, and what we did with version 8, because of the state of the market and the needs of small merchants today, and with so many of them focused on growing the online portion of their business, we created our first, what we call a programming interface. The first API to Mom, published API, is now available in version 8. So that will work with virtually any e-commerce shopping cart or web store type of software that a customer is using. We've also pre-built interfaces to Amazon, to eBay, to some of the leading platforms, and those are now bundled into MOM as part of version 8, no extra price for those modules. So as the market, as our customers have evolved more and more towards the online portion of their business, we've evolved MOM and repackaged and repriced MOM along with that.
Let's change directions just for a sec, Fred, and talk about you.
Yeah.
You're a veteran technology CEO. Tell us a little bit about your own background. When did you come to Dydacomp? Kind of what's your vision for Dydacomp?
Sure. My background is over 25 years in the software space. Dydacomp is the 5th company that I've been CEO of, and I really focus on smaller to mid-sized businesses like Dydacomp, and now how do we turn those into world-class leaders within their market segment. And that's pretty much what my vision for Dydacomp is. I believe the small businesses are underserved. I think a lot of the larger software vendors are focused on the larger companies where they can get a much higher price for their solutions, and I think that's left the door open for a company like Dydacomp to provide the order management, shopping cart platforms for a lot of these small merchants. Their goal is to not get caught up in lots of IT infrastructure, technology, and cost. Their goal is run and grow their business. And the more we can enable them to do that without requiring big investments, big overhead, big time and capital investments, then that's what is going to enable them to focus on what they do best.
When did you join Dydacomp?
Yeah, I joined at the very beginning of 2011. I've been here about 9 months.
All right. Fred, we have just another minute or so left. Anything else on your mind for our listeners who, as you know, are e-commerce merchants, mainly smaller merchants?
Yeah, I have one other point that I'd like to make, and that is kind of follow-up of what I was just saying about merchants being distracted by significant IT investments or technology investments. One of the challenges small merchants have right now is that there are so many different systems to connect to out there just to get an order from the customer through to the fulfillment and billing stage. So you have the e-commerce systems, you've got payment or credit card processing systems, you've got all the different third-party shippers in place, you've got accounting systems. The way we view Dydacomp and the MOM product in particular is that it's the integrator, it's the glue in between all of those pieces. So we're going to take that order information, whether it starts from a customer putting an order in online or a call center getting a call from a customer who's reading from a catalog, or even a point of purchase transaction. We're going to take that order, we're going to put it through the same workflow. We're going to automate the payment processing piece. We're going to automate the shipping piece. We're going to automate the accounting and billing piece. We're going to keep track of inventories. We're going to track that customer's information. So we're providing that glue for the customer, because getting the 2 different or 3 or 4 different systems to talk to each other is a big job. We view that as our responsibility to take that complexity off the table for the customer, for the small merchant.
Okay. Well, for purposes of our listeners, we've been visiting with Fred Lietze. Fred is the CEO of Dydacomp. Dydacomp being an e-commerce pioneer, its principal product is Multichannel Order Manager, an order management solution. It also offers SiteLink, as Fred described earlier, SiteLink being the e-commerce platform. That website is Dydacomp.com. Let me spell that. That's D as in David, Y, D as in David, A, C, O, M as in Mary, P as in Paul, Dydacomp.com. And Fred Lietze, the CEO of Dydacomp, we want to thank you for your time today, sir.
You're welcome. I was happy to be on.
Thank you so much.
That's all the time we have for this week's e-commerce conversation. I hope you enjoyed it. Please tune in next week for another new episode.